Okay, not the biggest overall fan of the season, but how I felt once it ended, I'm okay enough with it because, I mean, 9 seasons, you gotta be starting to run out of things to talk about before then, even though this show's only been going for like 110 episodes, so in many ways it's only had 5 seasons worth of episodes, but, you know, you gotta be kind of running out of things to do at this point, because, I mean, like, Ian, I think part of the reason that they kept him in prison the whole time is one, it's realistic, and number two, there really wasn't that much left to do with him, I guess, because, like, he had his, religious thing totally shut down, and stuff, although what they had him do in the court, that actually I didn't see coming, but when he did that, I'm like, pretty good. Claiming that you're crazy might get let off a little bit, at least in terms of emotional perception. Because, yeah, they could probably say that he's in there for 10 years and then release him after 3. They're not going to do that because, well, obviously there's only 2 more seasons of the show left, so, but we'll see what happens in that regarding bringing back Mickey. Did not see that coming, but when he throws out his explanation, I bought it in instantly. So, maybe there's hope for these two after all. We'll see. Right. And then Fiona going off the deep end. Well, as we've seen with Lip, Brad, sort of with Carl, and, Jason, the alcoholic that Fiona inadvertently sent spiraling, it only takes a couple of things to send you into a crazy situation, although those business deals were probably going to blow up in her face anyway. And then Max buying her out at the end, okay, it kind of makes sense because he realized that there's still residual business stuff that he would still have to do, and he does make a point. If you got here this quickly, you might go even further down. If I buy you out right now, then yeah, I'm taking some hit in the profits, but it makes things so much smoother. Because, yeah, from his perspective, he could have any number of reasons to have done what he did, so. Right, so at least that took, care of that. And her decision to go, well, yeah, it's kind of sudden, but I mean, like, Emmy did want to leave the show. I haven't really looked into why she decided to go, but I don't really think I need an explanation, because, like, I have heard that she wasn't really that much liked on set, but I did some poking around for that. And the only person that really seemed to say anything is Emma, who plays Debbie, but I don't know, though, the way that they're interacting on here, like, you're able to fake it that much, I have a tough time believing it. I think that she could have had some resentment towards Emmy after she went and had a little bit more time to think about it, but how do you know that isn't her just naturally changing her thoughts on various things? Because you gotta remember, the actress is the approximate same age of the character that she's playing, so you could easily think of all kinds of things to do then. You're in your young adult bit, and it just sucks for a while. Believe me, time I was living with my uncle, I do not look upon that with fond memories. It's no wonder I made so many of these things back then, escapism, yeah. Right, so now the other family members. Frank, creative. Alright, but then with his relationship with that Bianca chick, whose ex-husband is, David Wallace from The Office. I think his real name's Andy or something, but, that was just over the top. And I mean, like, she, at her age, above average childbearing age, wants to go with 6 kids. You are crazy, okay? Because, like, one, you could have the situation with what happened with Veronica earlier in the show, where you have one uterus swallowing the other, and I've read about this, just the odds of them all surviving are just insanely low. What? Yeah. So, she was definitely off her rocker about that. Glad that David Wallace was able to get her out of there. And then that homeless competition bit, well, again, creative, but then that last event, I mean, did you guys seriously think either of them were going to get on there? Because it's much easier to go after each other than the train. Yeah. What they really should have done is have the compartment open on both sides, put both of the guys on either side, and say, you gotta run for the train. Yeah. That's what they should have done, but of course, you gotta find some way to screw up Frank, and they did with this result, yeah. And then that last scene with him and Fiona, where he acts all standoffish, and she's like, I did everything, Frank. Yeah. Yeah, she did everything all the way until, like, season 6, even though, yeah, she got in trouble because of that coke issue, but really, if that Robbie guy hadn't, yeah. Even though Fiona's not 100% innocent in that whole affair. Right. Okay. Carl's storyline. I didn't totally like where it was going because I'm like, you're just seriously ignoring the military school bit again. But then seeing, and then also him being with Kelly, because at the beginning I'm like, yeah, there's nothing here, like, this is stupid. But then, over time, later on in the season, you realize that she's grounded pretty well upstairs, but that was her way of expressing herself, rebelling with her father, but then she finally snaps and is like, I am not going to have you boss me around all the time. You want me to go to military school? Okay, fine. I'll go. I want to go. But I am not going to be daddy's little princess 100% of the time. Now, of course, her father gave up kind of easy, but at the same time, he's like, she is an adult. And then how it was resolved at the end, all the way up until the very last part of the last episode, I'm like, they were just sending her and writing her off. This is going to be a lousy character, but then how she just gets Carl out of there. Yeah. So once you actually see the ending of these two storyline, I approve, actually. Rather surprisingly. Debbie, her behavior this season did kind of make up for how I felt with her for last season. Not entirely, but it was enough, alright? Because I never felt too much against her this season, minus the little bit with Alex, because that came kinda suddenly, and the way that she left it, it just ended. It was like, the show writers are like, we want to get rid of this character, but we can't really figure out how. And like with when Mandy was having her kid, it seemed like they left out the very last piece of the puzzle, where it's just like, okay, character gone. We don't care anymore. I just felt like that there was just a little bit more that needed to be done there. But you ignore that, I'm fine with what she did in this season, yeah. She began to step up and start showing Fiona, that she doesn't need to really be that picky anymore, because all the kids are now completely grown up except for Liam, but even then, they really ignored him this season, and he just starts staying at that other guy's house, and is like, I just want to do things on my own, because like, yeah, what can you really do with Liam? In my mind, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he's black, it's the age gap, okay? His age worked great for the first several seasons of this, because you had that gap of showing how to manage somebody in the family that was that age. But you gotta remember that now, without question, he is the age that Carl and Debbie were at the beginning of the show, but he has above average intelligence. So even though he's 9, in reality, as advancing him for the grades pointed out, he's more like 12. So, yeah, what are you going to be able to do with him? I mean, like, sure, you had that little bit where you had the girl that was bullying him, but even though they never had a complete resolution to that, you know that the taller black guy might have been Todd, scared her off, and then the pregnancy bit, well, yeah, you gotta remember, though, he's academically more smart for his age, and he knows a lot of street smarts, but does he know all practical things? Hell no. So, makes sense that he freak out like that. And you gotta remember, he was technically raped there. I'm surprised they didn't bring that up. Yeah, but I really hope they can find something to do with him, or just find a way to reduce his role in a way that doesn't seem like a slap in the face to the kid, because he strikes me as somebody who, like with, it was mentioned that, Carl in real life, Ethan, maybe? Because, like, with Ethan, he indicated to the people that he doesn't really want to continue with acting, but he's more than willing to continue with the show, because it's like, I grew up with all of you, you're like family, yeah, I'm in it until this is over. I wouldn't be too surprised if the person who plays Liam is exactly the same. He's like, I don't think that I'm into this, but yeah, I'll help you finish this, as long as it's not over the top. Then, Kevin and Veronica, because they're the only real main characters I haven't discussed yet, well, you kind of had to do something silly like that, because with Svetlana written out of the picture, finally, you can't really do anything left with the bar, you know, so you gotta focus on other things, and their home life, having that little creative situation with the kids, and then Santiago, go creative, kind of a waste, but it's a lot of things in life. If you really think about it, you know, where you get into something and then you realize not that much into it after a certain point. Yeah. Although, come on, Kev, just, dude, it's such an easier procedure getting the vasectomy than having the female permanent birth control bits. Oh yeah, it'll hurt, because I consider getting the vasectomy myself, but once you do it, it's over. And I mean, like, if I can deal with the pain resulting from the dislocated shoulder, I think I can deal with that. Right. Well, that takes care of Season 9, the end of the Fiona era, and also the High Def era, because, yeah, believe it or not, even though I had clues to indicate when I was watching this that this is supposed to be a High Def show, I had no idea that they put this on Blu-ray, or at least up to here, up until I started watching it, yeah. Only 2 more seasons left, but if you were to stop here, sure, Ian is still in prison, and you don't really know. Oh yeah, Lip! Oh my god, Lip and Tammy! Over the top at first, but then you see the intelligent discussions that they have at the end. It's a flawed relationship, but something just might come out of that. And we're gonna need a strong female character to replace Fiona. Okay, you don't have to replace Fiona, but there's something about her that indicates that she might stick around. I don't know if she or Lip are going to stay together, but you have her be the new Mandy, meaning that she's not just a love interest, she's actually part of the group. I can see it happening. Let's see what happens.